Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole and it's by user OKBanditCoot2349. Am I the a-hole for giving my girlfriend an ultimatum about her male best friend? I, 28 male, have been dating my girlfriend Sarah, 26 female, for just over a year now, and while I love her, there's one thing that's been eating at me since the very beginning: her relationship with her male best friend, Jake, 27 male. Jake has been Sarah's ride or die since college, and I knew from the start that they were close, but what I didn't realize was how much it would impact our relationship. I've always tried to be the chill, trusting boyfriend. I don't want to be the guy who's threatened by a platonic friendship, but honestly, it's gotten to the point where I feel like I'm the third wheel in my own relationship. Jake and Sarah are practically inseparable. They hang out multiple times a week, dinners, movie nights, spontaneous late-night drives, and I'm usually not even invited. If I try to join, it's awkward, like I'm crashing their private, joke-filled world that I'm not a part of. It stinks, but I tried to let it go for the sake of keeping the peace. But then things started to cross a line. Jake texts her constantly, even when we're together on dates. It's not just casual stuff either. He calls her babe and sweetheart, and when I brought this up to Sarah, she laughed and said it was just their thing, that it didn't mean anything. Apparently, they've been calling each other that for years, but to me, it feels like there's more to it. Who calls their best friend babe when they're in a relationship? Then there was the night I stayed over at her place and woke up at 2 a.m. to find Sarah on FaceTime with Jake. She was giggling like a schoolgirl, whispering so she wouldn't wake me. When I asked her about it the next morning, she brushed it off, saying Jake needed someone to talk to. But what about me? Am I just here as background noise while she stays emotionally tethered to this guy? The final straw came last weekend. Sarah and I had been planning a special weekend getaway for our 1-year anniversary, something we'd been looking forward to for months. But out of nowhere, Jake invites her to a concert the same weekend. Sarah asked me if we could postpone our anniversary trip so she could go with Jake instead because it's a band they both absolutely love. I was floored. Our anniversary, something we'd been planning for months, could just be rescheduled for Jake? It was like I didn't even matter. I told her that this was too much and asked her to set some clear boundaries with Jake. Like, no more pet names, no more hanging out one-on-one all the time, and definitely no more prioritizing him over our relationship. She blew up at me, calling me controlling and insecure. She even said, "You knew Jake was a part of my life when we started dating. Why are you trying to change me now?" Things got worse when Jake apparently told her I was being toxic and trying to manipulate her. Sarah is siding with him, saying I'm overreacting and that nothing has ever happened between them. She's now furious with me for giving her an ultimatum when all I really asked for were some boundaries that would make me feel like I'm her boyfriend, not just a side character in her life with Jake. Now Sarah's giving me the silent treatment and I'm starting to feel like I've somehow become the villain in my own relationship. Am I losing my mind here? I'm not asking her to drop Jake completely, just to prioritize us and respect our relationship. I don't know, maybe I've been unreasonable, so Reddit, am I the a-hole for asking my girlfriend to set boundaries with her male best friend, or is this friendship way too close for comfort? OP, you're not crazy or the villain or definitely not the a-hole. You're asking for basic respect. You're not trying to control her. There's a big difference between being okay with a close friendship and being sidelined while someone else plays emotional boyfriend. Calling each other babe, late night FaceTimes, and ditching your anniversary trip for him? That's not just close, it's emotional overreach. And when she dismisses your concerns and lets Jake label you toxic, that's a red flag right there. Setting boundaries isn't insecurity, it's self-respect. If she won't make the necessary changes for your relationship, then you're not her partner, you're just a placeholder. So if I were you, I'd leave and just let her be with Jake like she apparently wants to. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's check out the community comments. Iggy582 says, do everyone a favor and end this thing now. You will be doing Sarah a favor. She can have Jake. You will be doing Jake a favor. He can have Sarah. Most of all, you will be doing yourself a huge favor because you can find someone who sees you as her ride or die and someone who is actually loyal to you because after all, loyalty is the most single important factor in friendship, not being nice or liking the same things. Sarah does not believe she needs to be loyal to you. You know how I know? You can only truly know what we believe versus what we think we believe by watching how we act. Her actions speak volumes. Disastrous Machine 568 says, you are not losing your mind. Their friendship and connection is not a normal friendship behavior when you have a boyfriend. She doesn't prioritize you, she prioritizes him. And it is an old saying, you should not judge by their words but look to their action. Her actions tell you clearly that you are not as important. So treat yourself right and leave her. You're not toxic, she is. And You Must Be Joking says, not the a-hole. First point. Jake can have an opinion, but that is not relevant to your relationship. Honestly, it sounds like they are dating. I think you giving an ultimatum was never going to end good for you. Honestly, you know he is her #1 priority. Even if she doesn't say it in words, she declares it in all her actions. I think fundamentally, Jake is the third person in your relationship and he will always win. If you can handle that, stay. If not, go find your ride or die person. Life is too short to be uncomfortable and frustrated in your romantic relationship after a year. Well, the community agrees that OP is not the a-hole and that he should just end things. So now let's move on with the first of 2 updates that we have for this story. Hey Reddit, I'm back with an update and just let me say, it didn't turn out how I expected at all. I first want to thank you all for the amazing support you all have given me. After reading over the comments and talking to some of you guys, I had made up my mind. I was done being second place in my own relationship and I was ready to walk away. But what happened next surprised me. Saturday night, Sarah came over to talk. I was prepared to have the breakup conversation, but before I could get a word in, she told me something unexpected. She had cancelled the concert plans with Jake. She said that after our last conversation, she realized how serious I was and it made her think about everything. She told me she had been selfish, that she had been taking our relationship for granted. She said she told Jake she couldn't go to the concert and instead she wanted to spend the weekend with me. No distractions, no third wheels, just us. I was honestly shocked. Part of me didn't believe it. 4 months I had been asking her to set boundaries with Jake and suddenly she was doing it. It felt surreal, like a last-minute effort to save something that was already broken, but she seemed sincere. She apologized not just for the concert situation, but for all the time she had ignored my feelings, dismissed my concerns, and prioritized Jake over us. She admitted she had been blind to how much it hurt me and said she didn't want to lose me. It was emotional. She was crying and I could see how much it scared her that I was about to walk away. For the first time in a long time, it felt like she was choosing me. But here's the thing. As much as I appreciated her apology, it didn't magically fix everything. I told her that while canceling the concert was a good step, it didn't erase all the hurt. I still felt like I had been competing with Jake for too long and trust once broken is hard to rebuild. We ended up spending the weekend together as planned. We didn't go on the big anniversary trip, but we stayed in, cooked together, and had long conversations about everything. Our relationship, Jake, the future. It was a roller coaster of emotions. There were moments where I felt like maybe we could make this work, but also moments where the damage felt too deep to repair. By today, I was emotionally drained. Sarah seemed to think things were heading in the right direction, but I still wasn't sure. I needed space to think, so I told her we should take a break, give each other some time to reflect and see if this relationship was something we both wanted to fight for. She didn't take it well. She cried again, begged me not to go, said she'd prove to me that she was serious about changing, but I needed to be alone to clear my head without the constant push and pull of emotions. So I left. I haven't spoken to her since. We agreed to give it a couple of weeks before we decided anything, but to be honest, I'm still leaning towards ending things for good. Could she really have set boundaries with Jake after everything? I find this hard to believe after months of me begging. I feel like I've already checked out of the relationship, and while her efforts are appreciated, I can't shake the feeling that it's too little too late. I'll always care about Sarah, but this whole situation has made me realize how important it is to be with someone who values and respects you from the beginning, someone who doesn't make you feel like you have to compete for their attention. You all think she might have cheated on me with Jake. So Reddit, I ask, should I give her another chance or should I go through with the breakup? Well, I think OP stretching things at this point is just a mistake. He should end it and just move on. But regardless of that, we have the final update that is 8 months after the original post. So let's finish this story with that. Hey Reddit, it's been about 8 months since my last update. Honestly, I didn't plan on ever coming back to this. After everything happened, I kind of just wanted to forget about it. Plus, Sarah eventually found the post, so I stayed quiet. But at this point, I don't care who I piss off. I think I owe you guys the end of the story. Plus, a lot of you guys have been asking for an update, so here it is. After my first post, we decided to go on a break. We had no contact for 2 weeks, and those 2 weeks messed with my head more than I expected. I didn't know what she was doing, who she was talking to, or where things stood. Eventually, I reached out and told her I wanted to break up. I thought I was ready. She broke down, cried, begged, told me she'd cut Jake off for good, said she'd block him, delete him, whatever it took. She told me she couldn't imagine her life without me and just wanted one more chance. And like an idiot, I gave it to her because I still loved her. This was the second person in my life I could say I truly loved. I didn't want to start over with someone new when I'd known her for so long. She wasn't just my partner, she was my best friend. I didn't want to lose what we had. At first, things were okay. She was more present, we spent more time together, and she tried harder. But I wasn't the same. I had this weird feeling in my gut that I couldn't trust her, even if I pretended to. I just couldn't forget everything that happened, and I won't sit here and act like I was perfect either. When she was trying her hardest, I wasn't putting in the same effort. That hurt her. This went on for about 3 months. It started getting better, little by little. I thought we were making progress. I still wasn't all the way in, but I could finally say I saw a future with her. But the thing that really bothered? Jake. She did stay true to her word and unfollowed him when we first got back together. This was almost 4 months ago. But one day while I was at work, I was scrolling on Instagram and saw that they had followed each other again. I asked her about it and she said it didn't mean anything, that they weren't talking. I let it go. Maybe I didn't want to know the truth. Fast forward a few weeks, we were at my place and she had fallen asleep first. That's when I saw an Instagram notification. I couldn't open it, didn't know her password, and I wasn't about to try and scan her face while she slept. So I ignored it. I couldn't sleep, I was restless, but I told myself I was overthinking and I wanted to trust her. Fast forward another week. We went on vacation and were staying at a hotel. She asked me to grab something from the car, but the hotel room was on her phone, so she handed it to me. That's when my insecurities got the best of me and I snooped while walking to the car. That's when I saw it, and honestly, I felt nauseous. DMs from Jake, not just old ones, recent. Some unanswered, but some she did reply to. Messages about how she couldn't stand being apart from him, how it killed her to block him, how she missed talking to him, how she wanted to see him again, and then the part that really broke me, how she had developed feelings for him but was scared to leave me because then it wouldn't be Jake and OP, it would just be Jake. She talked about how she didn't want to lose both of us. She had even seen him behind my back. When she said she was going to the gym, she was going to his place. I came back to the room and didn't say anything. I laid in bed numb. She eventually got up to take a shower, and while she was in there, she texted me asking if I went through her phone. At first I lied, but then she said when she opened Instagram, it was still on her DMs with Jake, something she didn't leave open. So I admitted it. I told her I read everything and couldn't believe she lied to me again. Her response? You weren't supposed to see that. I completely lost it. She tried playing the victim card, telling me I broke her trust by going through her phone and that I wasn't supposed to read what she told Jake. Like I was the bad guy in this situation. That was it for me. I didn't ask for explanations. I didn't want to hear any more lies. I shut down completely. I stopped texting her and only spoke when necessary for the rest of the trip. We had driven 6 hours from our hometown to visit some friends, so I couldn't just leave. We acted normal in front of our friends until it was time to go. The 6-hour drive home? Complete silence. I drove most of the way and didn't say a word. When I dropped her off at her place, she tried to talk to me, even tried to kiss me goodbye. I pushed her away and asked her to get out of the car. Later that night, I texted her that I was done. I didn't want to talk anymore. She tried to explain, but at that point, there was nothing left to say. I gave her so many chances and she still chose to lie. Again, I don't know if anything sexual happened between them, and at this point, I don't care anymore. What I do know is I spent too long being second in a relationship where I should have been enough. So yeah, I'm single now. It hurts, obviously, but for the first time in a long time, I feel like I can finally breathe again. Thanks to everyone who gave it to me straight in the comments all those months ago, but also to those who told me to give her another chance. It hurt, but I grew and matured from this. Will it be good for you? It took you a whole ride to get where you are, but you're here, so now it's time to move forward. Take care, OP, and thanks for sharing. Now let's finish this video with a mood booster post. This post is from the subreddit Malicious Compliance, and it's by user Frantic Pedantic. Boss accused me of bullying, so I requested punishment. Years ago, I worked in a semi-public sector job as part of a successful team helping make life easy for local businesses. Our team boss took a good job in the private sector and a new boss was recruited from a decent organization similar to ours in a different part of the country. She worked compressed hours Monday through Thursdays and was off on Fridays. A month or two in, and although the new boss was quite particular about things being done her way and had upset a couple of my colleagues by criticizing their work, I had no problems with her. We had a team meeting where the boss said our performance wasn't good enough. We were arguably the best in the country. She said she wanted to be more involved in what and how we did everything to ensure better quality, and so we should copy her to every client email so she could comment as needed before we sent another reply. Although this seemed inefficient, nobody argued, and I just asked her if I should wait until Monday for her to comment on any client emails received on a Friday. I can't remember exactly what she said, but at the end of the meeting she asked me to stay behind and told me in a heated tone that my question was bullying behavior. She told me it was unprofessional to ask the question in front of the team and said that my actions were the sort of thing that HR would see as grounds for dismissal and that I should be very careful in the future. I told her I understood and we returned to our desks where I wrote up every single detail of the entire meeting and interaction and sent it to the head of HR. I included the explanation that as bullying was very serious and may not be reported by the victim, I felt duty-bound to report myself. I also laid it on pretty thick about being appalled by my unprofessional behavior and the fact that my career was likely at risk and I clearly had a desperate need for training and discipline to fix my dangerous ways. I also copied in my union rep. Within a day, my union rep and my boss were with the head of HR who, being a by-the-book professional, could find no indication of bullying or justification for my fears of being an unprofessional bully in need of re-education. I was asked to leave the meeting. My union rep stayed in and I don't know what was said, but within 6 weeks, my boss was gone. And that same week, my weak and ineffective but likable big boss called me in to thank me as he wanted to get rid of her but hadn't known how. Well, OP, you were just keeping yourself accountable and doing what was best for the victim, you know, your boss. I guess she learned that bullying is unacceptable. Thanks for sharing, OP. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out. So here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later. And also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.